Hello everyone, welcome to another interesting Space Week video. So today is the second episode of Space Week, and in today's video we will be talking about how an astronaut spacesuit works. And by the way, I am on the upper deck of my new house right now, and I'm also wearing the NASA shirt right here. So the blue light you can see behind me is the ambient light on top. I'm going to show it to you now. You can see that part over there is the blue ambient light. It stretches in a rectangle. So it's one of the favorite parts of the house. Okay. So now let's start the video. But before we begin, I need to talk about why yesterday I was not able to make a video. Well, yesterday there were some reasons, and on the first day there were also another reason. Well, yesterday I was sick and I was not feeling well. Like I was having cough, fever, so I could not get out of bed at that time. So I could not do a video yesterday. And on the first day, there was a malfunction with my camera and the camera could not record, and at the last I tried to fix the error, and at last it seemed to be working properly, but when I stop it the recording, it was not saved. So yeah, the attempt is gone right there. So now let's start. So Mr. Astronaut of my new astronaut projector is going to be our uh, model dummy, let's just say, for this video, as he is going to be helping us explain what is the basics of an astronaut spacesuit. I've adjusted the camera, hopefully it's looking good right now. Yeah. Okay, so first we need to talk about what type of material the spacesuit is made from. But first, we need to learn what is space. As most of you know, it's vacuum, and to withstand the high heat and harshness of space, there is one main material used in space suits. It's a highly strong yet lightweight material, just like carbon fiber used in the Boeing Dreamliner. It's the material is called Kevlar, and it has a very high pressure withstanding capacity, and also it has very high heat and uh, cold resistant properties as well. But now we have talked about the material, we need to talk about the three types of spacesuit. Now let's begin. The three types of spacesuit are EVA spacesuit, IVA spacesuit, both in one, two in one. Let's start with the one EVA, extravehicular activity, which means outside the spacecraft. If you are an astronaut outside the spacecraft doing on a mission, like if you are outside in the vacuum of space repairing a space station, or if you are on the moon doing research like the Apollo missions, or if you are a future astronaut who will go to Mars collecting samples in the Mars base, that requires an EVA spacesuit or extravehicular activity. The vehicle is the spacecraft, so they call it the vehicle in the space terms. So that's the EVA spacesuit. Then IVA spacesuit, intervehicular activity, which means in if you are on long missions like the Apollo missions, where your task is important but the spacecraft does not have much space, you will be wearing an EVA spacesuit. But this example will differ later. I'm going to tell you why. But now let's just focus on the EVA spacesuit for now. But if you want to take another example of the EVA spacesuit, I'm sorry, IVA spacesuit. I'm getting EVA to my mind. Sorry, just please don't mind. It's IVA. If you want to take another example of the IVA spacesuit, take the SpaceX spacesuits. They're IVA spacesuits used only inside the vehicle. These help the astronauts when there's a sudden or a rapid decompression inside the spacecraft due to failures in the pressurization system, or there may be a malfunction in one of the oxygen tanks. So there's not going to be a button on this. These automatically inflate themselves to the normal pressure and help the astronauts stay alive. So it's kind of a spacecraft which helps the astronaut stay alive, you can say. That's an IVA spacesuit. Then that comes to the EVA with IVA, two-in-one spacesuit. Well, these spacesuits are designed for both intervehicular and extravehicular activity. The thing is that when you're on missions like the Apollo missions, where there's no space inside the spacecraft to change, and you also have an important mission to take care of, and you can't focus on anything else, that's where an IVA with an EVA spacesuit comes to play. That is because these spacesuits not only help inflate automatically in the event of a rapid decompression, but they also cater to the astronauts' needs of doing spacewalks or activities outside the spacecraft's level. Like the spacecraft is pressurized to Earth's level, but once you leave the spacecraft in the vacuum of space or another world like the moon or Mars, it's going to be a completely different pressure. So to adjust the pressure and keep it to the normal level of Earth, this IVA with EVA spacesuit comes now. Today we are going to be discussing an IVA with EVA spacesuit with the help of our uh, model dummy Mr. Astronaut. We're going to be exploring the different parts of the spacesuit and their purpose. Okay, before that, I need to tell you I have something to make today. It's an alien which I am building, so I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna make another video tomorrow. But from today, there are no breaks, nothing like that. Yesterday, I was unwell, so yeah, that was the only break in this one. Okay, the first thing is the Kevlar, which is the main thing in both or three types of spacesuits, and then next this one. There are several parts which are joined together to make one spacesuit, which are detachable to, like to put on to the astronaut's body. And some detachable parts are the hand gloves, which are, I'm going to rotate it, this part right here, the boots and or the shoes, you can call it, till this part, and the helmet, which is actually removable. I'm going to remove it and show it to you now. Yeah. But this wire you can see is the actual oxygen supply, but this is an electrical cord in the projector. But in real spacesuits, this is an oxygen supply wire, oxygen supply tube for the helmet. But you may be wondering where it's connected to, and it's connected to this little backpack on the spacesuit. But this all is 100% real. You can go do your research on this backpack. But this backpack is the life support system of the spacesuit, which means you can already understand by the term life support, which means helping the astronaut stay alive outside the pressurized environment of a spacecraft. The life support has two things: oxygen supply and CO2 removal. That works on the principle of breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to explain it to you now. When we breathe in, we take in oxygen, and when we breathe out, the carbon dioxide comes out. Easy peasy, but in that it differs slightly because oxygen is stored in several tanks under high pressure. It will be liquid oxygen which comes out, and once the pressure outside is stabilized, it comes out to the gaseous form which we all are breathing in right now. Yeah. So it will be stored under high pressure, and for the CO2 removal systems, it will consist of a filter and also CO2 collection tank, which, if I'm not wrong, is the one. And once we breathe the CO2 out, it takes into a filter, filters out the rest of the gases, and puts it into the oxygen tank. You may be wondering why it puts it into the oxygen tank. I'm going to explain it to you now. Once the CO2 is filtered out, it's put into its separate tank where it stays. Now, the other gases are put into the oxygen tank because our body, when we take in oxygen, it's not 100% oxygen which we are taking in. It's all the gases which are present in the atmosphere. We breathe in, and only the oxygen gets filtered out by our lungs, takes it in, and the rest comes out with the CO2. I take in the gases surrounding in the atmosphere. My lungs filter that out, takes in the oxygen, releases the other gases. Easy peasy. This is how the spacesuit's life support system works. Next. Yeah. Now you can see this display thing right here. This is an actual display on the spacesuit with some kind of warnings linked to the astronaut, because once you're in the vacuum of space, you need to know whether your life support system is working properly, uh, whether your pressure is at 1 bar atmosphere, which is the one which we experience here on Earth, which is 1 atmosphere. And if something goes haywire here, it's gone. You need to return immediately, and there are some emergency situation I'll be explaining also. But now there are some indicators, like if there is more CO2 in your spacesuit than oxygen, it gives you a warning which tells immediately return to the space station, do the necessary checks, and if there's an error, like correct it, and then if there are no errors, just properly filter that out, put it like that. It's not so easy, but yeah, it says these steps to do it. And then the emergencies, like, let me show you. This helmet has two parts, I mean three parts. The visor, which is the black part to see here, which is actually real in the real suits also. And there are two layers, normal visor and the visor with the sunglasses. You see, when you're working in the vacuum of space where there's no atmosphere to filter the sunlight out, there are a number of things which could go wrong, and that's where the sunglasses come in. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. It's literally 11:30 p.m. It's already past my bedtime right now. Just please don't mind. Yeah, back to the video. Okay, the sunglasses help the astronauts from getting blinded by the harsh sunlight which gets directly exposed. Like if you are on the other side, if the sunlight is coming from this side and you are facing the opposite side of the sunlight, which means the sunlight is at your back, you don't need to wear the sunglasses. You will be working with the normal visor. But if the space station is on the normal rotation, the sun is facing here, you're working at this side, and the sun's rays is hitting your visor, you need to wear the sunglasses to avoid being blinded by the harmful sun rays. Then there's the emergency situation of a visor fogging up due to a lot of carbon dioxide buildup, or there may be a number of reasons that happens. It's if I start explaining this video, it would be half an hour long. Yeah, the visor fogging up is the worst case, but to ensure nothing happens to the astronaut, there will be a long wire connected to the spacecraft which the astronauts are working on, which they can hold on to and then pull themselves back to the space station and go through the airlock back to safety. Yeah, then there are other emergency situations, like one of them is the visor fogging up, and the other is the carbon dioxide increase, which I've told you. These are the main situations, emergency ones. And then there is the temperature of the astronaut. If you are wearing a spacesuit, you need to look after your body's temperature, because you are not only going to be in danger in a closed spacecraft, but your body temperature also. That is why there are two systems, heating and cooling systems. Heating systems is just like basically your car's heater or your home heater. It's just like it blows hot air when it's too cold outside. The spacesuit regulates that automatically, and when it's too hot, there will be pipes with cold water. I'm going to show you where the cold water is going to be stored. It's going to be stored in the same life support, but in a separate compartment. If the CO2 and O2 systems are located on this half, the water will be stored here. That will be ice cold water which will be sprayed to the astronaut's body to regulate the body temperature. And then there's the communication. If you are on a mission, you need to know what you're working on and what to do on that mission. Although you've been briefed, you need some help. and that's where mission control comes in. But you need to talk with them, and that's where the radio set comes to play. I'm going to show you. It's going to be located on the helmet. I'm going to show it to you as a demonstration. So this is just one of the protective covers of my astronaut projector. So it is going to be kind of a black thing. It's kind of your like a bicycle helmet you'll be wearing. It's not that big or that small also. It will be about this thick and also has microphones on both sides and two speakers and strapped to your ears. And all spacesuits are custom fit, which means they are meant to cater your body's height, weight, and your comfort. It's all within your comfort zone. So it's gonna be like this. I'm gonna wear it on my head. There's gonna be two microphones for extra audio clarity and then two speakers for 2 ears. That's the same about it. All in all, when these systems work properly, you can do a spacewalk up to 12 to 15 hours non-stop. But then there's the problem of a body waste. Where is it going to go? Well, those are stored in separate compartments also. The procedure is very complicated, but if I start explaining this video, would become 45 minutes long. So yeah, those do their works, and if all these systems work properly, as I've said, you can do a spacewalk hassle free for 12 to 15 hours. But most of the time, the waste collection system is made by the usage of adult diapers which the astronauts wear on missions for up on missions which are 8 to 12 hours plus. But on the spacecraft like the Apollo spacecraft, there were restrooms, but with limited privacy. You could go and you would go to the restroom before the spacewalk, and then you would take care of your spacewalk without any problems. Yeah. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. So this is the second video of Space Week. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you learned how a spacesuit works, and by the way, congrats and a shout out to all the astronauts out there. Hats off to you. Even my dream is to become an astronaut, to work in the cosmos one day, to work on a future spacecraft. So yeah, that's my dream. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment, and have a nice day as always.